Hello everyone, welcome back to Breaking with Branch. I'm your host Joshua Branch, and today I just want to go ahead and jump into the Ilhan Omar story going around all over the place. Initially, it's looked into by a reporter named Jacob Wall, and of course, there's been lots of stories about him as well. But regardless of that, let's go ahead and get into this. Ilhan Omar is a Somali American woman that is running for the U.S. She ran for the U.S. Representatives of Minnesota in the 5th Congressional District in 2019, which she won. So now she is a representative there in the House of Representatives for Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. Now, she is, like I said before, a Somali American. And she was endorsed by the Minnesota Democratic Farm Labor Party. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a little video of what's going on in Minnesota at the Mall of America. It used to be a famous mall of America there, obviously where we got the name. And now it is overrun with everything but Americans. And these people, I'm not sure if they're illegal or legal, either way. They're not integrating and they are not assimilating into our culture. Obviously, they're trying to change our culture into theirs. But anyway, so the story is going around that she has married her own brother in an attempt to keep him here instead of getting deported or kicked out of the United States. She decided to go ahead and marry her own brother to keep that from happening, and she's already married once, so that is completely illegal. So that's a lot going on there. So the Democratic Farm Labor Party endorsed her, and who knows if they knew that or not, but of course they denied it when they heard about it. And now there's the investigation is still going on, and Jacob Wall had a press conference today regarding that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that and how that turns out. And then just a few other things I wanted to mention while I got you guys here. Of course, Vermont passing the writing the H-57 bill to just give the right to have an abortion anytime you want up until the time of birth. Now, of course, at least it's still before birth. My goodness. In Virginia, they're talking about having an abortion after the baby's already born and it's sitting on the table and just letting it die. It's ridiculous. And they always chant, my body, my choice, my body, my choice. But at the same time, there are over 100 bills being written right now in over 30 states to mandate vaccines. So if it's my body, my choice, why the heck are you making me get a vaccine? It's my body, my choice. You can't force me to get a vaccine. My goodness. And whether or not they work, that's not even the argument. The argument is if it's my choice on whether or not I want the government sticking a needle in me or my children especially. So they have to make up their minds. Do they want my body, my choice, or do they want my body, the government's choice? Let's make up your mind, people. Good grief. And then, of course, you have Bernie Sanders. He won't admit that Maduro down in Venezuela is a dictator. He said, well, there's still some democratic processes going down there. Yeah, like stealing and blowing up vehicles by the government. The Maduro set on fire all the food aid that was sent to the people there that are starving. And Bernie Sanders says, well, these people are getting bread. If they're in line, they're getting bread. But good grief. As we've seen with socialism's been tried before. With the Pilgrims, it didn't work there. It hasn't worked in Italy. It hasn't worked in Germany. That's what the Nazis were, National Socialists. That's what Nazis stood for. And it does not work. Eventually, you're going to run out of people's money. That's other people's money. You're going to run out of other people's food. And eventually, there's no more money to tax. There's no more food to tax and steal. And they said something about Robin Hood. Well, I hate to tell them. I hate to break it to them. But if something like that, if they start pushing this socialism in America as like they do in the other countries, like in Venezuela, and they start taxing our food and taxing everything like crazy, there's going to be a lot more than one Robin Hood going around here and taking back what's rightfully ours. My father thought that Robin Hood was a bad person. He thought Robin Hood was a socialist because the saying goes, Robin Hood would steal from the rich to give to the poor, which is in fact socialism. They take from the people who have earned money and give it to people who have not earned it. That's socialism, and it doesn't work. It takes away the incentive for people to work and make money. But Robin Hood did not steal from the rich to give to the poor. Robin Hood stole from the government that was taxing without representing. They had taxation without representation, and they were taxing the people to death and taking their food and their money. They had nothing. They couldn't even survive. And Robin Hood was taking that back from the government and giving it back to all the people. He wasn't taking from just the rich people and giving it to poor people. He was taking what the government had already stolen and giving it back to the people that it rightfully belonged to. And when it comes to socialism, they always talk about equal opportunity, but they're not. When they say that, they don't mean equal opportunity. They mean equal outcome. So no matter how much you work, how little you work, or whether you work at all, that's how everybody gets the same paycheck. A universal basic income is what they're calling it. And it's ridiculous. It's not going to work. Hate to break it to them, but if you bought into that mess, I'm sorry for you, but you're sadly mistaken, and it's a big mistake. And then, of course, we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in her video while she's chopping up some sweet potatoes, talking and saying asking the question whether or not it's okay for us to have children. Okay, so now you're going to make us get vaccines. All right, now you're going to tell us we can't have children? Last time I checked, I'm in America. I didn't wake up in China this morning where you're only allowed to have one child and they make you abort it if you have more. This is getting ridiculous. And I don't know how anybody can stand up for this woman. She is out of her mind. And if she thinks Americans are just going to sit back and take this, and then she says, well, at least I'm trying, so I guess that makes me the boss. Okay, well, how many of you guys have ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Those people outside just digging mud and slopping in a pile. Well, just because they're trying something, even though it makes no sense whatsoever, therefore they become the boss of something. Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. It's almost laughable, but it's sad at the same time. Anyways, that's just some things that are going on. If you can, tune into the Jacob Wall press conference today, and we'll see how that turns out, see if they have any evidence on Ilhan Omar there. And go ahead and check out some videos of the Mall of America in Minnesota there and just see what's going on in there. All right, my name is Joshua Branch. This has been Breaking with Branch. And get out there and fight the good fight, America. Thank you.